3, 2, 1, enter pass. Keying with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we are finishing the Flying Boat series with What Could Be. And I'm going to tell you about something. This is actually fairly fresh. This was something that happened in 2023, and I'll get into the timeline. But first, I have to thank Greg Kenny, who used to be my videographer and still is our editor for this, whatever the heck this is. I can't see it. It looks pretty embarrassing. Kevin is laughing his butt off. So I'm going to, my heliotropic assistant, it's actually itchy. What does it say? Tweedledee? Oh boy. All right, I'm going to take this off. This is obviously a dig at me for my Disney friends. We got that off line there, or out of the way. So today we're talking about what could be, and we're going to tie it back to something about what has been. And so an interesting thing here. I was trying to figure out how to wrap up flying boats, and there are some maritime proposals. We talked a little bit about, one in the last episode, and there have been some other maritime proposals that I'm aware of, and the Japanese are still building flying boats, but this one was the most intriguing to me. And today we are going to talk about the DARPA project, on a project that's called the Liberty Lifter. Now, if you watch the Flying Boat series, you're going to hear some things in here that is what's old is new again, which is kind of scary. But the DARPA Liberty Lifter is designed, and I'm going to go ahead and Greg can find the DARPA Liberty Lifter, but it's designed to fly 100 feet off the ground, do 90 tons of cargo, and go 6,500 nautical miles. Now, I'm using the H4, which is the Hughes flying boat, which actually, when it took off, you could argue was in ground effect when it lifted up. And I'm going to reference a story I talked about in that video. But the exact same concept, again, now we're just using different technology. And again, I was actually shocked as I was doing the research. General Atomics is involved. Maritime Applied Physics Corp, Gibbs & Cox, and Rencon Craft. The aircraft will be similar to a C-17. It would be operable in a Sea State 4 to take off and land, and it could continue water operation in a Sea State 5. So I'll let Greg pick those up in the edit. The idea was that it would fly in ground effect up to, and you get a certain amount of lift, just boiling air under the wing, which actually lifts you up off the ground. I'm going to talk about a program that used that to great effect, an operational program. And this would be, it could fly in ground effect up to 10,000 feet. So that is kind of interesting. Now, this project has been awarded $56 million to date to do preliminary design, and that is amazing. Now, the two different designs, one design is a twin-hull design with 12 turboprop engines, or turbo shaft engines, if you can believe that. So that's H4 type stuff. Now, if you remember when we did the H4, which was one of the episodes, we had a caller, or I had a caller, that said he had a very interesting story. And that was that the H-4 was kept operational, and at one time, the company that owned the H-4 had a conversation with the United States Navy to say that they would give it to the United States Navy. Now, when we're talking operational, what I was told is that engines ran, there were spares, the whole 9 yards. The thing that was intriguing about it, which leads me to this DARPA program, was that the person who relayed this story to me told me that the H-4 had flown at night a lot more than what we realized. That it you know, if you see that very famous thing when it lifts off and Howard Hughes didn't mean to lift it off and this and that they had actually done, and this is hearsay, okay? This gentleman told me, who claimed to have firsthand knowledge, that the H-4 actually did a lot of flight testing under the cover of darkness. Now, if you think about it back to that time, there are no iPhones, there are no way of video recording it. Nobody would have known if they had towed it out at night and run it around, if they towed it out late at night. So it is entirely possible that that could happen. The other thing about the DARPA proposal that jumped out at me when we talk about the H-4 is that, remember, Kaiser was involved initially in the H-4 project, and the aircraft was supposed to be built in sections and then assembled similar to how a Liberty ship was assembled. And it was made of the Duramold process. It was made out of this wood process. They would do that. The proposal that DARPA put out is that this aircraft will be built in sections and assembled from large-scale components. So literally, we are going right back to a design that is post-war just by a smidge in 1945-46. So I just thought that the entire thing was fascinating and that there's actually been money expended on it. Now, the Russians had the Caspian Sea Monsters or whatever, but they were essentially large seaplanes. The Acropolin program, I probably butchered that, where these aircraft just did just that. They were designed to fly in ground effect off the water, and they were very, very fast. As I understand, back in the day, they were to move troops, but they also could be used for as missile carriers and things like that. When the Soviet Union fell apart, as with a lot of their programs, they were sidelined, you know, as we went out through the 80s, because if you had a good anti-ship defense or anti-aircraft defense, something of this size, we've talked about it before, if you don't have air superiority and you're moving, or you don't control the airspace, you move something this big, whatever it is, it's just a giant target, and you lose everything inside of it. This particular aircraft, the Liberty Lifter, when it happens, can take two of those very large marine sea hydrofoils with a bunch of other containers. So we're talking huge amounts of cargo. It would be very, very beneficial in a assault mode if you were getting cargo to a shore where you're attacking somebody and you had to get it in fast, and the craft had to be fairly quick. And that leads me to my salute today. And my salute today is going to be a kind of a strange one, but it is to all of the folks at DARPA. Because if it weren't for DARPA, a lot of these projects, and those guys over there, we've already saluted dreamers and stuff like that, but these guys think so far out of the box, you have to invent new boxes to catch up with them because they just go completely off the rails. A lot of their projects are technology testers. They never see the light of day, but they actually push people to think about what could be. And to DARPA, without you, it would not happen, Mr. DARPA. So we salute you. And today, we're going, a Paisano soda. Kevin, you totally destroyed me on the bib and whatever that is. But Caruso's Blood Orange Italian style soda. It has a California Redemption Certificate, 150 calories, not too bad. Made with real sugar, gluten-free. All right, well, let's see. So to Mr. DARPA and all of his offspring in the DARPA universe, whatever that is, I salute you. Oh, that's actually, I hate to say it, because Greg will come up with something really vile. That's good. That's very good. Hey, paisano. Mandatory second sip. So, although we did have what I would say in the Soviet Union a full scale, this is industrial tests. These things were operating, and they were huge. They work, so we know the technology works. So where does this go? By mid-2024, DARPA wants to move to phase 2 of this project, which is to develop a demonstrator aircraft. That's really exciting. So I would keep an eye out for this. There's a lot of stuff going on in heavy lift with blimps. You know, we've talked a lot about Lockheed. Lockheed Martin has worked on heavy lift. A lot of other people have worked on heavy lift with dirigibles and blimps and other aircraft. And the thing that we have to say about the amphibious military aircraft, not talking about civilian, there's going to always be civilian amphibs, but in the amphibious arena with military delivery, I would say that we have not seen the end of the line. So DARPA, thank you, and we hope that by mid-2024, we will see some sort of an amphibious aircraft be a product of this effort. Now, if you want to amaze your friends, you need, this is another one of these cool altimeter things that Jason gets. This is actually a clock. It is really neat. So if you want to have a clock and have it be an altimeter, why not? Click on the link. Jason will happily assemble one of these for you. He's not assembling it, but he has them, and he will mail it off to you. Now, we cannot do all of this and all this fantastic stuff that you see here without your donations. Click on that donation link. Send us a few lira. We're doing the Italians here today. Send us a few bucks. We can certainly use them. If you want to do education material, the education links are in there. You can download that. If you come across us on YouTube and you like what you see, which is essentially single take military aircraft videos with a little bit of production, which we got to give credit to Greg and Kevin. They make the magic happen. I'm just merely the talking Swiss cheese in front of the camera. Go ahead and forward this to your friends who like that kind of stuff. We have over 200 of these videos up. They cover everything. If you find us on Facebook, also same thing. Give us a comment on either one. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like. It always helps us move the channel forward. We surely appreciate that. We're off to attack helicopters in the next series. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, enter pass. King with a go.
Day, all my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked. But ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be